Starting it off in that number 5 spot of the top 5 Apple Watch bands and loops, this is the Dmveimal Braided Solo Loop, coming in at a price tag of only $8.99. Also, at any point during the video you want to check out any of the 5 loops or straps, there are Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But this Braided Solo Loop, this is an excellent value. When comparing that price of $8.99 to essentially Apple's exact same version of this, theirs is freaking $99. In my opinion, that is just straight extortion. Now, I initially wanted to believe that Apple's bands are just much higher quality. However, that's just not the case. My $49 Apple Sport Loop is less comfortable than this band, and after less than a year of use, it is already stained and starting to fray quite a lot. Now, I'm the type of person to always pay to get the best version of that product, even if it costs quite a bit more. But in this case, there's literally no reason to get Apple's version. Their version literally cost 11 times this band, and it's virtually the same. This Solo Loop is super lightweight at only 7.3 grams. This is extremely comfortable and obviously super lightweight, and the fabric is very non-abrasive. This is a fast band to take off and put back on because you just, well, slide it on your wrist. There's no adjustment there. Now, the con side of that is that you do need to actually size your wrist. Just get a piece of string around your wrist, then measure that piece of string to actually get your sizing. But if you do that, well, it's super comfortable and it's really quick to take on and off. Now, the con side of that though is when you're running, it can sometimes, if it's not a perfect fit, you either have to push it farther up your arm or it's gonna slip down. But as an everyday, super affordable, extremely comfortable band, it's a great band that I'd recommend to anybody just to add to their closet and even get multiple different colors so that they can match different outfits because it's cheap enough to do that. But with that, let's move on to the number 4 spot, which is the Tasikar Magnetic Band, coming in at a price tag of $16.99. This band is my number 1 pick for hiking and outdoor activities, things like that, backpacking, camping, all of the above. Part of the reason is this band is extremely solid and durable. The magnetic band makes it super fast to take on and off for hiking, and typically when I'm hiking and camping, I am always going to be taking on and off my watch just to make sure. Sometimes you're getting really dirty, sometimes you're cooking, sometimes you don't want your band on. I take it on and off all the time when doing that, so that's really important for me. Now, in all of my experience backpacking, hiking, and camping, I am constantly getting wet, rained on, or it just seems like there's water always somewhere, and part of me is always wet. And that's why this band's so great for that, because it's rubber. It never gets wet and it never has to dry out. This remains very comfortable regardless of the conditions and very comfortable all day long on a long hiking adventure. Also, for non-ultra watches, obviously on ultra watches, the colorways that you can get look so cool, but on non-ultra watches like I have, it actually makes the watch look a lot more rugged and like a hiking watch. So that is a really cool plus that I personally enjoy. I also much more prefer this band to Apple's own $49 sport band. It's more comfortable, more adjustable, and more durable, and it's $32 less. That's crazy. It also weighs in at only 30.2 grams, and for all the magnetic stuff, that's pretty impressive. Overall, with its ability to take hits from rocks, never get snagged, the fact that it never gets wet, and that it's super durable, this is the best pick on the list for hiking and camping. But with that, let's move on to the number 3 spot, which is the other hemisphere. This is the iiteology stainless steel watch band, coming in at a price tag of $19.99. This is my favorite pick on the list for a fancy and very formal attire. So if you're wearing a suit, this is the band that you're gonna want with it. Something that you can dress up your watch with. This band is pretty straightforward here because this is literally just a really nice, expensive watch band. Like, that's it, that's what it looks like. The stainless steel metal is very high quality and it's adjustable with the ability to take off the links and pins, again, just like a normal watch. It also does have that tool included, so you don't need to get anything extra to size the watch band. On your wrist, it feels heavy, like a traditional watch, so it's not something that you're gonna wanna go running in, but with a suit, it really does make a statement and it definitely dresses up the watch. For my hand size, taking 4 links off, this came in at 63.6 grams, but if you have all the links on, it came in at 73.5 grams. That's without the watch itself. So it is a heavy band for sure, but it does make a statement, and in a suit, it just looks freaking awesome. It's also obviously super durable because it's solid stainless steel, and it just makes you look so baller. A great gift to give to someone with an Apple Watch, but also something just keep in your collection so you can either dress it up and have that option to dress it up super formal. And for 20 bucks, it's a no-brainer if you consistently wear suits or fancy clothes. But with that, let's move on to the number 2 spot, which then flips it on its other axis. Now we're talking about running. This is the Lerobo Stretchy Nylon Loop. This comes in at a price tag, the cheapest on the list, of $7.99, guys. This is one of my favorite bands on the entire list. You don't need to spend more than $8. Again, my number 1 pick on the list for running now. Even though it's the cheapest band, it is absolutely my favorite band for running. Because of the adjustability here, it stays absolutely locked in when going hard on the trails. And it is so comfortable and extremely quick to take on and off because this is a, well, pull on, pull off, rather than having an adjustable band that you have to undo every time. So it's super elasticy. This is also a fantastic band for an everyday wear. For $7.99, this is a no-brainer if you want to do anything like running. I think this band specifically is better than all of Apple's own loops. It's just more comfortable and it fits better. When comparing this specifically to the Sport Loop, this has way more stretch to it, making it form to your wrist, staying in place much better. This also makes it significantly more comfortable. I mean, this band is at least twice as comfortable as the Sport Loop. Also, comparing the slip-on, slip-off design versus that Apple's Velcro design, you don't have to fiddle with that readjustment process every single time you put it back on. The material against the skin is also softer and less abrasive. And again, I want to reiterate this is the most comfortable band on the list, which is crazy because it's also the cheapest. The overall quality here is great. You wouldn't expect that for the price, but it is. The connector pieces are plastic, but they're tight in the watch and they aren't too big, which is pretty typical at this price point. The adjustment piece is also metal and the fabric to the touch feels really, really nice. This also weighs in at only 9.3 grams, so it is super lightweight. And there's also a bajillion different colors to check out. Make sure you check the links below if you want to see all the colors. That's all in the links. All right, but now before we get to the number 1 spot, we have an honorable mention. And this is the EDIMENS leather band. This comes in at a price tag of $14.49 and is a great pick if you want a leather band. Rather than doing that more traditional watch style stainless steel band, if you want something like a leather band, if that's what fits your repertoire more or your look more, this is a great pick at a great price. This weighs in still, even though it's leather, at 19.9 grams. It's got quality metal buckles and connectors, and the leather obviously will form to your wrist the more you wear it, so comfort's gonna increase with use, just like a leather boot or shoe. Definitely not something I'd wear working out or running or something like that. You're definitely gonna wanna add this into your kind of like fancy clothes. Definitely a band to add to the collection, not an everyday. You could wear it every day, but you're not gonna beat something in terms of comfort as the number 1 spot or, well, the last one that we just did in the number 2 spot. But with that, let's move on to the number 1 best Apple Watch band. This is the Epuly Milanese Loop Band, coming in at a price tag, guys, of only $14.99. Apple's version of this band is $99. This one is 15 bucks. And it's right here. And it looks so freaking good. That literally looks so nice. This is my number 1 overall favorite band, as it's a casual everyday driver, something that you take on and off with your active band after running, but every other time of the day, this is the band that I'm leaving on. If you're going to a friend's house, it isn't too showy. However, if you're finding yourself wearing a suit or fancier attire, it absolutely fits with that as well. It's a jack of all trades, not just with look and obviously durability because it's all metal, but also with comfort. This band is super comfortable to wear all day long. The build here really feels top notch. The metal linkage looks awesome. The ends and connector pieces are all metal, and the magnet to adjust the size is really impressively strong. And because of that, it never loosens when wearing it and needs readjustment. You pull the tab and then you can take it off. And obviously to keep this on, you just pull this once, do it, and then you're done. It's super fast, and once it's adjusted, you're not readjusting it. This is also the only band that I really consistently am just feeling it and fidgeting with it all day long because the metal just feels so cool to the touch. Having all those little links that literally look like chainmail, it's literally like a fidget toy. But really, once you start wearing it every day, that's where you really notice just how freaking comfortable it is. For a metal band, this really just melts away into your normal daily life, and you don't even realize you're wearing it. And for something that's metal that looks this nice, that's really impressive. Also weighing in at only 36.3 grams, it's not as heavy as you'd expect for a metal band. And that combination of looking so sophisticated and elegant with being super comfortable and light just makes it the best daily. But again, if you guys want to check out any of the 5 bands in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. Here's one crazy fact I'm going to end the video with. You can get the first braided solo loop, the Tasikar magnetic band, the Lerobo band, which is my top for running, and this last Milanese loop for less than one of Apple's $49 bands. All of those together add up to a price of $48.96, and you get 4 bands. That is absolutely crazy and just shows you that you should not buy Apple's bands compared to, well, these. But this is Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.